Namaste, everyone. We have come to the last few verses in the first chapter of the Ashtavakra Gita. Here, Ashtavakra teaches one of the most fundamental and important spiritual truths of Advaita Vedanta. He tells this truth to Janaka, the enlightened king, who already understands this truth quite well. But as we discussed before, Janaka wants to hear these teachings again and again to assimilate them more deeply. Sakaramaratam vidhi. You can repeat after me. Sakaramaratam vidhi, nirakaram tu nishchalam, nirakaram tu nishchalam. Etat tattvopadeshena, etat tattvopadeshena, na punarbhava sambhavaha, na punarbhava sambhavaha. Ashtavakra says, Vidhi, O Janaka, you should know this. You should understand this spiritual truth. What truth? Sakaram Anritam. Anything that has form is a mere appearance. Anything with form seems to exist, at least for the time being, but ultimately it is unreal. If that's so, then what is real? Well, Advaita Vedanta defines real in a very precise manner, with the expression Trikala abaditam satyam. That which is satyam, real, exists continually in all three periods of time, in the past, present, and future. Always existing in the past means it's unborn, uncreated. Always existing in the future means it's eternal. And always existing in the present means it's changeless. It's immutable. Because any kind of change brings an end to the prior state of existence. That is, the previous state ceases to exist when a new state begins. So, that which is real is uncreated, unchanging, and eternal. Anything that has form, on the other hand, is created, it can change, and it's not eternal. That's why Ashtavakra denies the reality of anything that has form. Then he says, on the other hand, nirakaram nishchalam. That which has no form is unchanging. Unchanging in the past, present, and future. In other words, that which exists without form is real. As we discussed before, pure consciousness, atma, has no attributes like form. Consciousness itself is uncreated, unchanging, and eternal. Consciousness is real. Ashtavakra continues, Etat tattva upadeshena. By this instruction, through this teaching about formless existence and reality, na sambhavaha, there is no possibility of punarbhava, of being reborn again into a life of suffering. That means, with the help of this teaching, you can become enlightened by personally discovering your true nature as pure consciousness, a formless reality that's uncreated, unchanging, and eternal. Now, this verse happens to be somewhat philosophical in its approach, which is unlike most of the other verses in the text. The Ashtavakra Gita as a whole is more focused on personal experience than on spiritual truths. This experiential orientation is crucial, since the text is meant to support your practice of nididhyasana, Vedantic Contemplation. Nididhyasana can be described as an examination of experience itself. In this practice, you contemplate on the nature of your own experience, including your experience of meditation. So, in the next verse, Ashtavakra returns to a more experiential perspective by using a metaphor that's based on a really common experience, the experience of looking into a mirror. Yataiva darsha madhyaste, yataiva darsha madhyaste, rupenta paritastu saha, rupenta paritastu saha, tataivasmin sharirentaha, tataivasmin sharirentaha, parita parameshvaraha, parita parameshvaraha. Ashtavakra says here, yata eva, just as, rupe, when you see a form, when you see the image of an object, adarsha madhyaste, reflected on the surface of a mirror. Sahatu, that mirror, the mirror on which the image appears, is antaha paritaha. The mirror is both inside and outside of the image. The mirror is both behind the image, giving it existence, and the mirror is also beyond the image, existing independently. According to the previous verse, a reflected image is a mere form that can appear and disappear. The mirror, on the other hand, was present before the image appeared, and it will remain present after the image disappears. Compared to the image, the mirror is relatively unchanging. Metaphorically speaking, the mirror can be considered real, whereas the image is not real. It's not as real as the mirror. In Advaita Vedanta, when we discuss whether or not something is real, that discussion is not a mere philosophical exercise. It addresses a crucial issue about your experience. Here's the basic idea. That which is unreal can't affect something that's real. An image can't affect the surface that reflects it, nor can an elephant that's chasing you in a dream truly affect you. For this reason, the teachings of Advaita Vedanta lead you to discover that your body, your mind, and all objects in the world are a bit like the dream elephant. They're not as real as they seem. And because they're not absolutely real, they can't affect your true nature as pure consciousness. Ashtavakra explains this using the mirror example. He says, tata eva, in the same way, just like an image appearing in a mirror, so too, asmin sharire, when this body and mind appear, that is, after your birth and before your death, then Parameshvara, Supreme God, which in this context refers to pure consciousness, atma, is antaha paritaha, both inside and outside of your body and mind. Like a mirror is both inside and outside of a reflected image, so too pure consciousness is both inside and outside of your body and mind. Everything you experience appears in consciousness and disappears from that consciousness. Your body, your mind, and the objects in the world that you experience are all created. They're all subject to change, and they're all time-bound. Well, that's our definition of unreal. Pure consciousness, on the other hand, is uncreated, unchanging, and eternal. Pure consciousness is real. When you discover that your essential nature is pure consciousness, then you'll find that there's nothing to fear, nothing that can threaten you, because there's nothing else that's as real as you are. Mirrors happen to be found in a number of metaphors used in Vedantic texts and commentaries. Why? Perhaps because mirrors seem mysterious somehow. Looking into a mirror can be like looking into another world. Also, have you ever wondered, why do mirrors reverse your left and right sides, even though they don't reverse the top and bottom of your reflection? Anyway, Ashtavakra closes this chapter with a metaphor that's less mysterious than a mirror, but equally powerful. A metaphor based on the all-pervasive nature of space. Ekam sarvagatam vyoma, ekam sarvagatam vyoma, bahirantaryata ghate, bahirantaryata ghate, nityam nirantaram brahma, nityam nirantaram brahma, sarva bhuta gane tata, sarva bhuta gane tata. Before we see this verse in detail, it's really important to note that Ashtavakra uses the word Brahman here, not with its conventional meaning as absolute reality or the substratum of existence. The main topic in this first chapter is the nature of consciousness, atma. And both Ashtavakra and King Janaka know very well that atma and Brahman are ultimately the one and same fundamental reality. So here, the word Brahman is used in the sense of pure consciousness, atma. Ashtavakra tells King Janaka that vyoma, space, is ekam, one, and sarvagatam, all-pervasive, as we've discussed before. That one, all-pervasive space is simultaneously present antargate, inside a clay pot, and bahirgate, outside the pot. This sounds a bit similar to the prior verse about a mirror being both inside and outside of a reflected image. But a slightly different point is being made here. Ashtavakra says, yatha, just as it is for space, tata, so it is for Brahman, which in this context indicates atma, pure consciousness, consciousness which is one and all-pervasive like space. That atma is nityam, eternal, uncreated, unchanging, and atma is nirantaram, partless, featureless, completely free from attributes. So, just as one all-pervasive space is both inside and outside of a clay pot, in the same way, one all-pervasive consciousness is both inside and outside of sarva bhuta gana, of all beings, of everything that exists. That which is all-pervasive pervades not only living beings, but inert objects as well. The purpose of this metaphor is actually to challenge your conventional way of thinking about inside and outside. The space in a pot is not truly cut off or separated from all-pervasive space in any way whatsoever. Space has no divisions, no sections, no partitions, and neither does consciousness. Like space is not stuck inside a pot, consciousness is not somehow stuck inside your body. Now, consider this. When you move a pot, does the pot space inside it move along with the pot? No. Space doesn't move. The pot moves through space. Really speaking, the expression pot space is meaningful only from the standpoint of the pot. From the standpoint of space itself, there is only one partless, indivisible, boundary-free space. All this holds true for consciousness as well. When your body moves, the consciousness inside it does not move. Consciousness doesn't move. Your body moves through consciousness. Probably the most important use of this metaphor is to explain, from a Vedantic standpoint, what happens at times of illness and death. When a clay pot gets cracked, the space inside it remains the same. Even if the pot is shattered into tiny pieces or pulverized into dust, nothing happens to the space inside it. The same is true for consciousness. The consciousness that's present in your experience right this moment. When your body becomes old, diseased, or lifeless, that consciousness remains utterly unaffected. Fear of death arises when you are identified with your body and mind. But after you discover your true nature as pure consciousness and gradually remove every trace of identification with your body and mind through the practice of nididhyasana, then you will not fear death, because you will know with complete certainty that the death of your body will not affect you at all. Speaking of nididhyasana, it's time to begin our guided practice. Today, we will contemplate on consciousness being utterly unaffected by whatever happens in your body and mind. Before we begin, you can pause this video right now and take some time to practice your favorite meditation technique. Then, when your mind is sufficiently quiet and focused, you can resume this video and listen with your eyes closed. Okay. If your mind is quiet and focused, we can begin. Ashtavakra said that the world of forms is not absolutely real. Objects appear, they undergo change, and they disappear. Consciousness, on the other hand, is uncreated, unchanging, and eternal. Consciousness is real, and that consciousness is your true nature. That which is unreal can't affect you, like an elephant chasing you in a dream can't affect you. So, the consciousness present in your experience right now can't be affected by your body or mind. Your body can produce sensations of pain and discomfort, but those sensations are revealed by consciousness, which is not affected by them. Like the sun is not affected by what it shines upon. Your mind can produce painful emotions and uncomfortable thoughts, but those thoughts and emotions are revealed by consciousness, which is not affected by them. Your thoughts and emotions and sensations can't affect consciousness simply because consciousness is unchanging. To be affected by something is to undergo some kind of change. But unchanging consciousness is affected by nothing. Let's explore this. At first, just listen. You are the consciousness that existed before I chanted Om, while I was chanting, and after I stopped. That consciousness remained unchanged, unaffected. You remained unchanged, unaffected. It was your mind that underwent change. Confirm this now in your own experience. Consciousness does not change from moment to moment. It is your mind that changes. Confirm this now in your own experience. If consciousness does not change from moment to moment, then how can it change from year to year? The consciousness that reveals your experience right now is the same consciousness that revealed your experiences many years ago. See the truth of this statement. Your body changes with age. Your mind changes as you grow in knowledge and wisdom. Your emotions change as you grow more mature. Yet, consciousness remains unchanged. You remain unchanged. See the truth of this statement. Oh.